Indeed, about 6:50. Greetings, greetings, greetings. We are glad to have you all with us. And yes, I'm in the headquarters. I am in headquarters HQ, Hot 2100 Savannah. Glad to have you all. We say share, share, share. And what's going to happen? This is like a part 2 for what we did last week. And so next week, we're going to have with us Sister Janiqua, who had the Isis Moon Festival. This is her second festival down here in Savannah. So we're going to have them on next week. But we were told we need to go ahead and continue some more of this information that we're sharing with regards to some of the videos and then having some commentary with regard to that. But again, we said everyone share, share, share. And so we got to do this right here. And we're going to probably run this back again because we got to do this because we have some people who are misled and led astray. Hold on just a second.
Join us in the fight against alien cults and our alien nation.
So that is Mr. Leroy Cantrell. Mr. Leroy Cantrell is an alien cult fighter. He's an alien cult fighter. On Our Black Media, there's a show called Our Alien Nation. Mr. Cantrell, along with others like myself, we are opposed to them with that information about aliens. No aliens. So we put it out there, let it be known there are no aliens. And so that is again a blur from Mr. Leroy Cantrell. So just like people follow cults, it comes down to about leaders. This one right here, this video is about leadership. Leaders that sometimes not working in your best interests. So what you observe, and some people picked up on it, this video right here, and it talks about here a rabbit is being given, an adult rabbit is being given a carrot. The adult rabbit is interested and enthralled with the carrot, but the adult rabbit is not concerned about the smaller rabbits are being taken out of its hovel. Not concerned about it. Is more enthralled with regards to eating the carrot that was given to it by someone else who is now in the place of stealing its own loved one, its own offsprings. So some people have made that and say that that's an assessment or is symbolic of leadership in communities. They say outside of the United States and in the United States that some of us are so happy to get the carrots that we don't even look at what's happening in our communities and what's going on with us. So that's one thing we want to share that with you all to say that's why we got to get this corrected with regard to our leadership. Our leadership, we cannot have leadership more concerned about getting things for themselves and then while the people suffer. So that's a part of, that's what that symbolic is representing that right there. And so we have another one. This is tied to the great Walter Rodney, who was assassinated. Walter Rodney is a Pan-Africanist and great leader with regard to showing connections and ties of all of us, how we are all connected.
I have met brothers and sisters who say that their mother tongue, quote unquote, is French, Spanish, Dutch, Portuguese, as well as English, which we speak. And because of this, We have a problem of identification. We do not know whom we are. And that is why this gathering is of great symbolic importance, because it is an act of identification. We are saying that we identify with the African people of the African continent. We are saying that we are an African people. And when we make this identification, have no illusions about the fact that this is a very revolutionary initiative. It is a rejection of every other form of identification which the white society has asked us to accept. Let me draw your attention to something which white universities and white libraries practice. And this is a...
I realize again we may have that issue, and I notice that my mic, when I do the videos, it goes to mute. So we're going to replay this again. This is Walter Rodney, a great Pan-Africanist who was assassinated. And so Walter Rodney from Grenada. So I have to make sure I monitor, make sure that it's not muted. So we're going to go back and
I have met brothers and sisters who say that their mother tongue, quote unquote, is French, Spanish, Dutch, Portuguese, as well as English, which we speak. And because of this, we have a problem of identification. We do not know whom we are. And that is why this gathering is of great symbolic importance, because it is an act of identification. We are saying that we identify with the African people of the African continent. We are saying that we are an African people. And when we make this identification, have no illusions about the fact that this is a very revolutionary initiative. It is a rejection of every other form of identification which the white society has asked us to accept. Let me draw your attention to something which white universities and white libraries practice. And this is a university community. Numerous universities lie around this land. You go into their libraries and check the Library of Congress cards. Under Europe or European, you will find all entries listed concerning the continent of Europe. You will also find entries listed about Europeans in East Africa, Europeans in North Africa, Europeans in Asia and Australia. Look under the Chinese, you will find entries listed not only for mainland China, but for Malaysia and for the Chinese in North America. But look on the Africa and the Africans, the only entries on the Africans relate to the continent itself. There are no entries on the Africans overseas. There is no such category. Africans who have been raped from the continent mysteriously disappear and become Negroes.
Again, that is the great Walter Rodney. And so he was putting information out there that with regards to Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism believes in the unity of African people from around the entire world. But Walter Rodney is saying this, that we go and say our mother tongue is English, our mother tongue is Spanish, it is French, it is Dutch, and that, again, it's all these other European languages, Belgium, that, again, with regards to that, Walter Rodney is saying, no, that we have a commonality. We have the fact that we are Africans and that we have something that connects us together, something that is powerful for us to understand our story. And that's a part of the great struggle, that we don't see ourselves being a part of a great struggle, being together as a people. And so that's why some of what we're going to say, the things that we have to do, and those of you all who joined us, that's why we appreciate y'all joining us, like from Maria Scott to Tanya C., that we appreciate, and Sister Deidre, who's always watching, checking us out, that again, is that us coming together as a people. And that's why I say, when we respect our Africanity, then we can go and look at having that love for all people, with regards to anyone's humanity. Now we have Mark, and again, we enjoy all of y'all checking us out, because we understand how important it is for us to come together, because we're now in the throes of some insanity in this country right now, absolute insanity that's impacting the entire world. So that's why we must make sure that we understand our roles and what we should be doing. And so we have some others who also, that when you talk with some of them, they may not necessarily identify with Africa properly, but then you have another number of them who do understand their connection to Africa, their ties, and how they need to be functioning with regards to unity, and where other people have us thinking that we have to be disjointed and not connected. Randall, glad to have you also with us. And so again, Gianna, glad to have you too. Peace and blessings. And so again, we're going to share this right here. Again, we're talking about unity, and some of y'all just joined us. We just showed the great Walter Rodney, who was assassinated. He was a Pan-African. He believed in the unity of African people, no matter where they are in the world, something that I subscribe to also. And he was from Grenada. But we have someone else that, again, sometimes people don't identify them with regards to their Africanity. And so this is a poignant one where they're now going to discuss this and bring this up.
Acceptable to say the N-word, and you're gonna be called out. The majority of our Pacific is black, and when we say we're proud to be Pacific, it's proud to be black. The populations of Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, New Ireland, New Britain is massive. They're literally 80% of the Pacific. Polynesia is very small in terms of the number of Melanesians there are in our Pacific. And if you don't know your history, go look at a photo of the old Hawaiians, look at the photos of the old Samoans, look at the photos of the old Maori. They're black, and they were called monkey. Acknowledge your self-hatred. You maybe have some anti-blackness within you, but our ancestors are black, our people are black. Get used to it. Being dark-skinned is beautiful.
Again, realize other time it went out, but we're going to go back over just in case if y'all didn't hear. We're going to start back over. This is a brother, again, coming from the South Pacific. So just in case, again, I know the camera, the system will automatically go and mute me, but then we're going to try to work this on out so it's not muted.
Acceptable to say the N-word, and you're gonna be called out. The majority of our Pacific is black, and when we say we're proud to be Pacific, it's proud to be black. The populations of Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, New Ireland, New Britain is massive. They're literally 80% of the Pacific. Polynesia is very small in terms of the number of Melanesians there are in our Pacific. And if you don't know your history, go look at a photo of the old Hawaiians, look at the photos of the old Samoans, look at the photos of the old Maori. They're black, and they were called monkey. Acknowledge your self-hatred. You maybe have some anti-blackness within you, but our ancestors are black, our people are black. Get used to it. Being dark-skinned is beautiful. It is not derogatory to me. And get with the times already. And it's easy, not like, oh, it's such a burden not to say monkey. Are you serious? You could say dickhead. You could say asshole, unless it's offensive to assholes.
So here go a brother who, again, coming from the South Pacific, coming again. He talking about Fiji, the Melanesian islands that we go look at. So from Australia going on to Tasmania to New Zealand, that again, we go and look at this. And many times some people go and say, no, I'm not that. They may go and say, I'm Asian, I'm something else, but they don't go and accept their blackness. And he went and put it out there saying that we are black. We have that Africanity. He put it out there and says it and shares it. Again, other people, because they have taken on the narratives from other people with regard to their hatred and their racism, they shy away from their Africanity. And so then it causes some of us to be confused also, thinking that people are not connected. And so there's someone else who was a great leader who sought to make sure that all people came together. That's why I say respecting Africanity. And this person right here, well, we're going to show you his cemetery site, his grave site, Fred Hampton. So Fred Hampton grave site is annually shot up. They're going to designate, say, it's law enforcement. But Fred Hampton, if you know the story of Fred Hampton, this young, great civil rights leader in the Black Panther Party in the 1960s, he and Mark Clark are assassinated in Chicago. Fred Hampton brought everybody together. He brought African people together with Caucasians, with Latinos, that they brought them all together in Chicago. And he was the one that brought about what is called the Rainbow Coalition. That was Fred Hampton that Jesse Jackson then later picked up and carried it on. So powerful people with regard to understanding that, again, you respect who you are, you can respect everyone's humanity. And so we in a country right now, in a society right now that don't want to respect the humanity of other people. And so we have to throw it out there with regards to showing that conjunction, that tie with regards to Fred Hampton and also our brother who, you know, we see now that's in Papua New Guinea, who also understanding that, again, their relationship to their Africanity. And we got some more for you with regards to that, because again, showing you ties and connections. Because we're going to get, some of us going to get a little controversial with regards to this, because we got one right now that this is controversial because, again, people not knowing their connections and the ties, and this is happening in Los Angeles.
LAPD under scrutiny this morning after a complaint was filed accusing officers of making racist and other derogatory comments about their colleagues. The alleged remarks secretly recorded.
A Los Angeles police officer working in the department's recruitment office recorded dozens and dozens of conversations for the better part of a year. These recordings revealing 90 recordings made inside the recruiting division, portraying officers and supervisors voicing open discrimination against potential.
LAPD under scrutiny this morning after a complaint was filed accusing officers of making racist and other derogatory comments about their colleagues. The alleged remarks secretly recorded.
A Los Angeles police officer working in the department's recruitment office recorded dozens and dozens of conversations for the better part of a year. These recordings revealing 90 recordings made inside the recruiting division, portraying officers and supervisors voicing open discrimination against potential recruits and colleagues based on race. These are the same officers tasked with deciding who can join the LAPD. Now, in one conversation, take a look at this. A Latina LAPD officer offered this advice on how to fight African Americans, saying, quote, "You hit black people in the liver. I heard they got weak livers." According to the complaint filed January 5th, the complaint also claiming officers reportedly referred to black people as monkeys.
This is the United States. This is what's going on. Again, people not understanding connections and ties, and that we look at what happened, the climate that we're in, and that these are people who play a role in basically, determining folks who will become police officers in the community. So again, making sure that we don't see community policing, that you need to have policing and law enforcement that's reflective of the community. So black folks are there in Los Angeles, and so they should have officers who are there, but again, officers who are going to be doing the right thing. And what happened this week right here, because at Tybee Island this weekend, we had the Lazaretto Day, which is the remembrance tied to Lazaretto Creek, which was where the first quarantine station for Africans being brought into the state of Georgia, the colony of Georgia, was on Tybee Island. Later went to Coxborough Island, Cedar Hammock, and Sunbury, that's in Liberty County. And so did the celebration. But that's a part of a larger celebration that also occurred around the entire world. And that occurred on yesterday. March 25th is the International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Captivity and the Transatlantic Captive Trade. I don't go and use the SL word, but then that's what it is, March 25th. That is the day that folks go and they remember that, again, the children who are taken from Africa, who are now taken to the Americas, going to Central America, South America, the Caribbean, and to the United States. And so that was celebrated on yesterday, and is a part of that connection and that tie with regards to us understanding our relationship to one another and being there for one another. And so what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a break. We'll be coming right back to you. We're going to take this break, excuse me, in my throat a little bit, but then we're going to take this break and come right back. This is Ron Tell that we said everyone share, share, share.
On March 18, vote to renew East Blast. This one.
Savannah, are you looking for some of the best Southern soul food? Then check out Kim's Cafe at 714 MLK Boulevard. The food is so good, you'll think that your mother cooked it. Located in the heart of Savannah, Kim's has a menu that includes breakfast anytime, lunch when you need it, and dinner so you won't have to cook when you get home. They also cater all types of events and can host your reserved event at the restaurant. Come see what everyone has been raving about. Great food, great atmosphere, and a great time. Kim's Cafe, 714 MLK Boulevard in beautiful downtown Savannah.
And we're back. This is Run Tell That. We're in the headquarters, Hot 2100 headquarters. We're here. And we say, yes, support all our supporters. Kim's Cafe at 714 MLK Jr. Boulevard. Davis, Bozeman, Johnson Law Firm offices in Savannah, Atlanta, and Statesboro. And One Price Cleaners located in the Farmers Market in Garden City on Highway 80. And Chef Food and Gas. Don't ride by, stop by. But there's an event that's going on also that we say to y'all, support it this weekend. Those of you who are in the Chatham County area, the Bo Weaver Hill Association, they're having a community fundraiser, and it's to create help, fund and support their community center. So they got oyster rolls. They got 5-quart oysters, $20. Some people say that's a great deal. So, but not only that, they're also going to have fried fish dinners also. $15 for that. And then also, if you want a hot dog, soda, and some chips, $3. And that's, again, helping them out. And then a bunch of other assorted sodas that Julius Hall do not need, that at $1. So, again, that's in Bo Weaver Hill. That's in the Bloomingdale community, which is historic community right here. The Bo Weaver Hill, which some of y'all may know, that was the Black community there. And is the Black community in Bloomingdale, Georgia. And so, again, we are going to say support them. They are going on from 12 until 4 o'clock, and we hope to see y'all there. Hot 2100 Savannah will be there, in addition to our Black media. So we say support them with regards to them creating their community center, so that way they have something for the community and also for the youth. And so we come here now with regards to this also, because, again, this is a continuation for us to think and ponder about. And so you got the leaders, we got Walter Rodney, and then also we had, again, we are not concerned about aliens, Julius Hall. But then we also show connections with regards to Walter Rodney, showing all of us African people connected. And then we have our brother coming from the Pacific, Isles, saying, hey, listen, we are all Black. That's what we are. But when other people don't understand, because I need to back up and let y'all know this, people who are Mexican descent also have Africanness in them too. Yes, that's why some of them do have a percentage of African blood in them also, because they brought them to Veracruz. So again, they were bringing them from Africa to Veracruz and Yanga right there. So again, you see the line being passed down. But now we're going to come to something. This was an interview done with someone, and some of y'all may know this person right here, this comedian who had a show. And so we're going to open up with this right here.
What do you think that these executives are afraid you're going to do to white America?
Probably stop some racism.
Stop racism?
Yeah. I'm probably afraid of that, because then people don't hate each other, then people start talking to each other, and then they start talking to each other, they find out who's the problem.
Which is?
Greedy people.
Greedy people. I have a couple things I want to ask you there. Do you really think that some of the guys that you dealt with at NBC, no names, right? Because there's lawsuits for that too, but some of these guys really want to promote racism actively, or is it a subconscious?
I just think it's part of capitalism, is to promote racism, right? In order to make things work. If you feel better because you're white and you can get a job, you use that. I mean, I would.
Absolutely.
Say, I'm sorry, Jack, but shit, they say I'm white, I'm going to use this.
Right, absolutely.
Get this job, I'm hungry, But, and that separates people. So they keep people separated, and that keeps them from thinking about the real problem. That's as simple as I see it. Probably it's not that simple, but...
Now, all right, you and I are about the same age, right? We're in our mid-30s. How long is it going to take before guys who think like you, and I say guys who think like me, people who don't want to have racism in the country, people who don't want to be oppressing any minority, whatever it is, sexual, whatever minority, really get into positions of power and can change things?
You can't get in a position of power, it seems, if you think like that. It seems that the only time you get in a position of power is if you like the people that are in power. To me, I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, people that get to become executives become like the people that were already executives.
I don't know, maybe...
They go in with good intentions, but it eats them up. It's like a cesspool, it just gets on you and it starts
eating. The system levels them.
Pretty soon it's all gone.
Is that what a cesspool sounds like?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back right after this.
Okay.
Wow, that is Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor is giving out information. And again, this goes back to the 1970s when he had his show, the Richard Pryor Show, that came on NBC. And I think they did just 4 segments of his show. But you heard Price in the beginning of the question was posed, why do you think that these white executives did not want you to still continue pretty much with your show? And that's why, again, Price not throwing it out there saying, hey, listen, because it was going to awaken the minds of the people. It was going to open the minds of the people. And so we see that same thing transitioning today in the world that we live in. That's why we want to pull that video, because Pride put it out there. And so that's why we have situations like this. And we're going to probably hit you back with this again. So
join us in the fight against alien cults and our alien nation.
So again, that's Julius Hall. They want to promote this alien stuff. It's just like the same thing. They're trying to get into your mind, trying to get into your head. But there's another Richard Pryor video that goes and is pretty much on point with regard to what we're facing with regards to education and information, that we're looking at things right now today that plays a role with regard to how we're thinking and functioning right now. Richard Pryor's segment from his show.
Professor! I got it open! Good heavens, man! Great Scott, we've discovered the fountain of all knowledge of Egypt in the entire world. Do you realize the importance of this moment, Smedley?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you see the brilliance, the untold years?
I see it, sir.
Sorry. This is medicine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Father. You swine. Look! What is this?
See. Says, cannot. This is the elixir of life, sir.
The elixir of life?
The cure for all diseases. Wait, let's see here. Wait,
give it to me.
The inscription on the bottom.
Give it to me. Give it.
Open at other end.
Lummox. This can't be, man. What? You know what this is? What is it, Buddha? It's the Book of Life. Book of Life. In the beginning, when man arrived on Earth, the black gods did leave their spacecraft, and they walked, and they named the beasts of the sea and the animals of the land. Heavens. And man in his blackness did walk the earth, making medicine. Medicine? They discovered time. These were all black people got down. Wait a minute. There ain't nothing in here about whitey. This is ours, Jack. Wait till the brothers hear this. Puna. I'm gonna get this book out of here, baby. This tells me real tea. Puna, check this out. Self-control yourself, don't you see? What you mean, Jack? Look at this here. Black people started the music and the brain surgery back in the year 3 BC. Yes, of course, Puna. Man, they was getting down. This is it, brother. Yes, everybody gonna know about this. Listen, we can change the history. Civilization will be changed. By all means. Yeah, this is gonna be it. Get the bulldozers. There's nothing here.
But.
Shut up. Good heavens, time for tea, eh? What?
And I realized again, because I don't have a producer in here, and then I realized what probably transpired, that you may not have heard it. So I got to do it again and make sure that it stays off, this mute button. So when it's just me, that's what happens when we hit the system. So we're going to go back to this prior clip. This prior clip is poignant in the fact that it gives you an assessment of what we're looking at today with regard to information. So it's comedy. And again, this is from a classic Richard Pryor show that he did when he came on NBC, that later they told him enough is enough, which is kind of like we're doing it today.
Professor! I got it open! Good heavens, man! Great Scott, we've discovered the fountain of all knowledge of Egypt in the entire world.
Do you realize the importance of this moment, Smedley?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you see the brilliance, the untold years?
I see it, sir.
Sir,
This is medicine.
thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
You swine.
Look, what is this?
See. Says, cannot. This is the elixir of life, sir. The elixir of life? The cure for all diseases. Wait, see here. Wait,
There's an inscription on the bottom.
give it to me. Give it.
Open at other end.
Lumix.
This can't be, man. What? You know what this is?
What is it, Buna?
It's the Book of Life.
Book of life.
In the beginning, when man arrived on Earth, the black gods did leave their spacecraft, and they walked, and they named the beast of the sea and the animals of the land.
Heavens.
And man in his blackness did walk the earth, making medicine.
Medicine?
They discovered time. These were all black people got down. Wait a minute. There ain't nothing in here about whitey. This is ours, Jack. Wait till the brothers hear this.
Buna.
I'm gonna get this book out of here, baby. This tells me real tea. Check this out.
Control yourself, don't you see?
What you mean, Jack? Look at this here. Black people started the music and the brain surgery back in the year 3 BC.
Yes, of course, Buna.
Man, they was getting down. This is it, brother.
Yes,
Everybody gonna know about this. Listen, we can change the history. Civilization will be changed.
By all means.
Yeah, this is gonna be it.
Get the bulldozers, there's nothing here.
But.
Shut up! Good heavens, time for tea, eh? What?
Again, it is humorous, and as Richard Pryor. And is that not the condition of the society that we're in today, where they're trying to bulldoze information, trying to knock out information that show humanity of people, showing information, showing correct history? And so we say to y'all, yes, we thank y'all for tuning in, and that this is what this is about, just getting people to be enlightened. That, again, Pride does it in a humorous way with regards to what's going on in this society, this world that we live in right now. Well, we're basically almost doing book burnings and other things like that, and also bulldozing the truth from coming out. That is important for people to know the truth, for them to not understand who they are, so then that way they're not creatures that have been created falsely, they're mythological creatures. But again, we thank all y'all for checking out the show, and because again, that's what we want people to know. We want people to know the history, know the story. And so again, this is greatness abounds us. Excellent. People talk about the excellence. We want people to see the excellence and know the excellence, but then also make the connection. God tells us, when you understand other languages, you can make bridges and connections. When you understand other cultures, you make bridges and connections. When you don't, that's when you're separate. And so, yeah, so this is what this is about. That's what we want folks to not gravitate, gain the information, gain the insight, and continue on with the gospel, because we want to illuminate what's going on. So we appreciate all y'all checking out the show. And so we're going to add some more layers to this right here, because we got other conversations that need to happen with regards to people in this society, because again, not wanting us to have free speech. And so we're going to have a video for y'all that's tied to and connected about free speech that comes from one of our representatives, again, from Louisa and everyone. We're glad to have y'all joining with us. Rachel, again, we appreciate the words also, and Sharon. So yes, and so we are now going to go to about free speech, what we're supposed to be doing in this society right here, and again, these are the rights that we have in the society.
Free speech is not about whatever it is that y'all want somebody to say. And the idea that you want to shut down everybody that is not Fox News is bullshit. We need to stop playing, because that's what y'all are doing in here. You don't want to hear the opinions of anybody else. And the Constitution says Congress shall make no law respecting or establishing of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the
gentlewoman's time has expired.
So you all heard the Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett from Texas now stating that, again, if you're not a part of Fox News, you're not part of the ultra right, the ultra conservative, just the hypocrisy, you then get caught up and you get squashed. They don't want it to come out. That's why that segment with regards to showing what Pryor did with regards to, again, going to Egypt and gaining this information, gaining this insight. So, yeah, see, because, again, we got some we appreciate you, Theodore. We appreciate you, yes, indeed. And thank you, James, for the commentary. But this is propaganda right here, but I'm about to show you all. Again, propaganda. Why Willie Shields guy goes, he got through a Beach High School. Willie Shields got through a Beach High School. He got through that up. Why? See, again, propaganda. That's what I said. That's what we're struggling with right now. Propaganda machines all around us. But then we don't let it stop us. That's the thing. Again, heard I just say, we don't let it stop us. But then we have to go and call it out. And we got to call it out because that's why we have this right here. What I call hypocrisy. Hypocrisy, not hypocrisy, hypocrisy.
Tiffany?
This is so utterly ridiculous. It's not only a national embarrassment. This is a national emergency, John. And I just feel like anybody who has the temerity to come on air and try to defend this. Scott, you just said that they're apologetic or that they've admitted some sort of wrongdoing. We just heard the defense secretary deny this whole thing and instead choose to attack Jeffrey Goldberg, who did the responsible thing by not reporting out everything that he heard on this or read on this signal chat. When this happened, I actually talked to some friends who worked in Intel during the Obama administration and the Biden administration. And I asked, how do you normally communicate about something like this? And there's a skiff that you have to have the highest security level to participate in these conversations. You go in a room where there's no electronic devices allowed. There are no windows. It's taken very seriously. And this is what happens when you have a man whose first job in government was as president of the United States, who's politically inept, who employs people who are politically inept. There's nothing funny about this. We're putting our people who serve this country at danger, and we're asking people to believe nonsense. And this is a travesty. Do we think President Xi of China is tweeting or texting about his national security plans? Do we think Vladimir Zelensky is texting about his plans? Do we think President Vladimir Putin is spoon-feeding Russian talking points to American diplomats even on Signal? This is a thing that people use to talk to their side pieces, something Pete Hegseth would certainly know about. This is something that people use to talk about March Madness. It is a crisis that we need to take very seriously, and we can't present this as journalists. We cannot present this as though these are two opposing political points of view. This is a serious issue that we need to take seriously. As a patriot, Scott, I find it really troubling because they ran on this whole idea of this pseudo-patriotism, this regressive masculine patriotism, yet everything they're doing runs against making America great. Well, it was never great, so I'm not going to say the again part, but making America great. You're trying to defend the indefensible. Yeah, I absolutely feel that way. I absolutely feel that way. And I think if you had the history that my people had in this country, that you might have a modicum of understanding and respect for that. America was never great for me.
I think when we talk later about why the Democratic Party is so unpopular,
I'm not here to represent the Democrats. I'm here representing me, and I think it is a common understanding that America may have been great for you. It was not great for me. I think there are people who want her to fulfill that promise. But the point of this discussion right now is the national security of this country, which your party put at risk. I'm not a member of the Democratic Party. I'm not here to represent them. But for me as a journalist, I'm telling you, this was a huge problem. So instead of attacking Jeffrey Goldberg, what they could do is act like men and own this mistake, since they ran on this regressive masculinity campaign, act like men and say, you know what, we failed. But instead what you heard was this president yet again lie and say, oh, I don't know anything about it. Soon enough it's going to be, I don't know this Hegseth guy that well. It's a consistent party of lies with this guy, and it's disturbing that there are so many people willing to defend this instead of saying, yes.
And again, Tiffany Cross, and that's what Deidre Murray called it out, that she has a fondness for Tiffany Cross. And so again, the smugness that is there, she's also said with regard to Scott. And so again, what we're looking at people that, as I said, that I call it hypocrisy happening. And so, yes, we had some comments that come in also. And so again, Mark, again, always glad, Michael, glad to have you join us. And again, I'm so Julius is ecstatic by this right here. And to this comment right here, Willie Shields, I am the king of AEB. I am the king of AEB. I am the king. understand that, respect that. And so, yes, Deidre, again, we appreciate your support. And yes, and that's what happened with Scott and many others. That's when Tiffany had to call it out. If they have a modicum of some understanding, they will not be allowing this to go on. But they are allowing this to go on, and that's why the people have to learn to stand up. And so we play a role in some of this right here. And when I say we play a role, because this is another part of the conversation that is not out there. We have to be selective about where we're going to get information, because we see that they're trying to minimize the information so we cannot get it, so we can address the society squarely. And so this is the video with regards to that.
The algorithm is not neutral. It is an architect of perception. It dictates not just what we see, but how we feel about what we see. It tells us what deserves our outrage and what we should ignore. It amplifies echo chambers, rewards dissent, and distorts moral clarity. And that is not accidental. The algorithm is designed and maintained by tech moguls and wannabe autocrats who profit from engagement regardless of harm. It is shaped by geopolitical forces that use division as a tool to destabilize democracy. And it thrives on distraction, keeping us looking at each other as adversaries rather than looking up to ask who benefits from this. If we are not careful, we will mistake spectacle for substance. We will mistake visibility for power. We will mistake performance for progress. And we will find ourselves fighting for liberation within a system that has already predetermined the limits of our freedom. So, we build movements in spaces available to us, but we cannot mistake access for ownership. History tells us when movements become dependent on systems they do not control, those systems will find a way to contain them. So I ask, if the apps disappear tomorrow, would our coalition still stand? Because a movement sustained only by an algorithm is a movement that can be erased by one. Now, this is not a call to abandon technology nor a rejection of the progress that we've made using it, but it is a reminder that these tools do not belong to us, and if we do not use them with intention, they will use us instead.
Powerful statement right there. So again, these algorithms, we need to make sure that we're on top of it. And then also, you heard saying that it will not convey to you what you should be outraged about, what you should have feelings for, when in actuality is right before your eyes, what you should be concerned about and what you need to be standing up for. And so again, that's what this is about. This is excuse me, last week, this week right here saying, hey, we got to be out there. And correct, Brother Willie, that again, we want all our sisters out there who are talking, from Tiffany to the sister right here. Again, giving the information that, again, that it is the truth. It is what we need to be addressing, because again, we're putting lives at risk in this country right here. And so, and we're going to move on with regards to, again, some more of what we need to be understanding, what we should be about, because we have issues going on right now. And I call these people right here DEI warriors, and not because it's at Jenkins High School, not what's in back of me, but DEI warriors. And this is some young people that they had to experience something that, again, this is being put on and placed upon them by adults, by leaders. And I'm going to go back and show that Rabbit leadership video too, for folks to now understand. Again, we cannot be like that. That again, we're allowing other people to wipe out who we are as a people. So again, DEI warriors, I called this one right.
You were not meant to be here today. This ensemble was not meant to be heard. And I wonder what this moment on this stage means to your heart.
My name is Sean Muzan. I'm here from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a junior at Southwest DeKalb High School. One thing that unites us all is this, music. I'm here because I love it. No other reason than all these amazing, talented people. And I don't want this to be taken away from anybody because of someone else's personal opinion or just anything else besides why we like to do this.
My name is Vanessa Cabrera. I'm from Rockaway, New Jersey. We worked hard to be here. We belong here. We have the talent to be here. And this is not just for us, but for children and just people in the same situation that we are, that nobody can tell you what to do. You know, if you put your mind to something, that you can accomplish that.
My name is Ricardo Lazaro. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. I just want the world to be a better place, but it seems like we're slowly straying away from that. And we got to make a change. And I believe everyone here is capable of doing that, but are we going to do it?
Hi, my name is Julie Angeles Bowler. I retired after 23 years as the timpanist of the U.S. Army Band Pershing's Own. We need all of this, not just musically, athletically, academically. We need diversity equity, and inclusion. Thank you very much.
And y'all heard it. And here you go, the young people giving their thoughts and opinions, but you see other people trying to control that, trying to control the narrative, just like in a humorous way with regards to what is put out in the Richard Pryor clip, but then also understanding that it has to be about excellence. And so when you look at the one with Tiffany Cross is criticizing, you see people, they're not DEI, they're just dumb. They're not DEI, but these are people that allegedly have the merit. And that's why I tell you, it's meritocracy. It is not any meritocracy. It is meritocracy. And you saw the blunder that they did. That has not happened with other people. Or when it happened with one person, that wasn't as significant as what they just did. They went and they lashed out on the person, but you see the silence right now and the scapegoating and the excuse making with regard to that. That's why we have to be on top of it. And again, we're celebrating excellence also right now in this period right here. Excellence. And so we have an event coming up next Saturday is the Isis Moon Festival going through, through the 3rd through the 6th, again, 5th and 6th are the ones that I know about mainly. And so, but the Isis Moon Festival that's going on in Savannah, Georgia, again, excellence right there. Sister Janique will be on next week as we share with y'all early on. But I'm going to go back and show you all something too, just to let y'all have an idea about what we're talking about with regard to leadership and why people got to stand up. If not, you'll be just like this. More concerned about the goodies for yourself and not concerned about the people that you're supposed to be protecting and nurturing. Gone. And so that's why we talk about excellence, and that's what this has been going on. And we have someone right here, a historical figure that was tied to excellence that has a connection to us right here.
Blind Tom Wiggins, born Thomas Green, was an African-American musical prodigy and one of the most extraordinary pianists of the 19th century. Born into slavery on May 25th, 1849 in Harris County, Georgia, Tom was blind from birth and likely on the autism spectrum. But Tom displayed an exceptional talent for music from an early age, mimicking sounds and playing complex melodies on the piano by the age of 4. Despite his disabilities, Tom's musical abilities quickly became a source of fascination. He had an unparalleled ability to replicate any piece of music after hearing it just once, earning him the title of a musical savant. By age 6, he was composing original pieces, and by age 8, he was performing publicly, earning significant profits for his enslaver, General James Bethune, who took control of Tom's musical career and his earnings. Blind Tom toured extensively and performed for audiences across the United States as well as Europe, and even performed for the then president, James Buchanan. His repertoire included classical works by Beethoven as well as his own compositions. Blind Tom could even play 2 different pieces of music simultaneously, one with each hand, while singing a third melody, a feat that astounded audiences and critics alike. Tom's life, however, was fraught with struggles. He was exploited as a financial asset, first by General Bethune and his family, and later in legal battles over his guardianship. Despite his fame, he had little autonomy over his musical career. But Blind Tom was able to compose over 100 pieces, and today he is remembered as a musical savant. His legacy is one of both brilliance and tragedy, whose talent transcended the limitations imposed by slavery and disability, leaving an indelible mark on the history of American music.
Please drop some flowers in the comments below in honor of our historical heroes and innovative icons.
Blind Tom Bethune. And Blind Tom Bethune is hired out to a place called Savannah, Georgia. Savannah was the wealthiest city in the state of Georgia at that time during the time of captivity prior to before the end of the Civil War. So Blind Tom Bethune is now here in Savannah playing in places here in Savannah, Georgia. So there's a history. Again, he's from Harris County, Georgia, which is West Georgia, that Muskogee County area right over there. But he also has a connection to Chatham County, Georgia also, where, again, the accolades are thrown out to him that he now goes on to Europe. So, again, that excellence that we talk about. And we got someone else dealing with some of, this is the Mythbuster, and they're going showing the excellence that's right there in our own midst with regards to our own families. And that's Brother Joe, who is the medical Mythbuster.
These black women delivered care to women in the South before doctors and hospitals were the norm, but you've probably never heard of them. My name is Joel, the Medical Mythbuster, and welcome to episode 6 of Woke Black History. Let's talk about the forgotten history of grand midwives. Up until the mid-20th century, grand midwives delivered poor and rural black and white babies in the South before delivering in hospitals was the norm. These women were healers trained in their communities, connected to a legacy of slavery, but also instrumental to healthcare during segregation. But in the 20th century, grand midwives were slowly squeezed out by doctors, hospitals, and federal law. Midwifery became associated with being poor, black, and uneducated. The 1952 documentary, All My Babies, followed one of these healers, Miss Mary Coley. She delivered over 3,000 babies during her career, and in Ani Lee Logan's obituary, she said she delivered pretty much every black baby in Pritchard, Alabama. Be sure to follow along for more Woke Black History.
And again, Brother Joel, again, the medical mythbuster. That's what he does. And so guess what? In Chatham County, at the Civil Rights Museum, you see a list of some of the midwives also. And that, in fact, some of y'all know some of their grandmothers, their mothers and grandmothers who were doing that. So great work that is done. These are some sheroes that we need to shower that attention to. And that's what this is about, showing that excellence. And so now we're moving to a part because we're coming to the closing part. And that, again, the work, because, again, we showed you all the rabbits. We showed you all that. We showed you that the rabbit eating while the babies are being taken away, not even concerned. That's what leadership. And so, again, did you want to put out there, again, check out these sisters right here who are putting out great information. And that's what this is about. And we appreciate that, Sister Deidre. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we're going to move on to some things that are happening in the state of Georgia, but around the entire country when we begin talking about these issues with regards to land. And so we have right now this family land, this group that's in Sparta, Georgia. That's Central Georgia. And so what happened, you now have a railroad company who is now basically acquired the family property via eminent domain, and said because it's going to be economic development. So again, but here goes 600 acres that's been in the family since the 1920s. That again, they understand the importance of land, and they are now collectively fighting. And so I got someone else I'm just throughout there who are collectively fighting also, and these people right here collectively fighting also. Oh, excuse me, I should say they fought. So what you all see, 1958, that the KKK burned a cross on the lawn of a Lumbee woman up in North Carolina. And you see what happened. They then got together, 500 of them, and surrounded a KKK event, a gathering, and were firing weapons in the air. And those members ran that. And I got to say that those cowards ran. And that's what happened. That again, they'll come at you like a gang, as a pack on one person, but will not come at you one-on-one. But those Lumbee Native Americans up in North Carolina came together as one to address them. And so again, when we see that, so again, collectively right now, you got folks who are coming saying that we cannot allow, again, the government to not go and take the land from these folks for this railroad company that's tied up there in the central Savannah State, so Savannah River area. And so we come down here. So again, this one right here is going to be a bit troubling for some people because again, it's a part of we want folks to know. And this story right here is a crucial story right here.
This is Hayhira, Georgia. Hayhira is in South Georgia. It's in Lowndes County. Lowndes is home to Valdosta, Georgia, which is probably the next biggest city. And we're here today because I was looking for the Mary Turner lynching site, memorial, marker. And I couldn't find it. And the reason I could not find the Mary Turner marker was because they permanently removed it. And the reason that they permanently removed it was because it kept getting destroyed by people who did not want to have a marker for a woman that was lynched in this county. And I don't know if you know the story of Miss Mary Turner's lynching, but it's particularly brutal. Because Miss Mary Turner was lynched in this county at this spot because she spoke out about her husband being lynched. Okay? Her husband was lynched. She got mad about it, and she expressed her outrage. All right? And what happened was, a lynching party came, rounded up this woman who was very pregnant. I want to say she was 6 months pregnant, maybe more than that. And they beat and killed her. But not only that, someone took a knife and cut the baby out of this woman's womb and stomped the child to death. So I'm showing you this sign that has bullet holes in it right near Miss Turner's memorial. And this is why they had to remove her marker, because it kept getting shot up with bullet holes.
And the Mary Turner tragedy and lynching getting tied to a 21-year-old black woman whose husband was lynched unjustly. And again, all lynching is unjust, but her husband got lynched and another black man. So all Mary Turner did, all she did was that she went to the law enforcement. She went to the sheriff. She went to law enforcement and said, hey, listen, I need you to find the people who killed my husband, lynched my husband. I'm married. I'm pregnant. So someone just went and killed my husband. And the fact that she had the audacity to respect her humanity like that, they then went and decided a lynch party. Again, cowards then go and lynch this 21-year-old black woman. Some will go say 21-year-old girl, something when they go talk about other people. And so, but also very pregnant. And then, yeah, it was more than 6 months, very pregnant, lynched her, then cut open her belly, and then killed the child, the baby that was within her. That's what we're dealing with. That's why when we looked at Richard Pryor's segment, again, not wanting information to be known, when we talk about what they're doing in the society, that's what this is about. Because again, those people are still around and their children are still around here. Some of them have passed away. Of course, yes, some of them passed away. But there was one person who stood up. Her name is Rebecca Stiles Taylor from Savannah, Georgia, who lived in a community called Woodsville here in Savannah, Georgia, Chatham County, Georgia. And she wrote to the president of the United States, Woodrow Wilson, the racist president that we showed y'all last week. She wrote to him and told him something needs to be done about Mary Turner. Rebecca Stiles Taylor spoke up, stood up, looked out for other African people. That's why we talk about Walter Rodney. All what we've done this past 2 segments have been about us coming together now and standing up and no longer being afraid of people and their consequences because we think they may have some power. It's the algorithms, and that we need to be understanding we have the power as a people. This has been Run Tell That. We said check out all our shows on Our Black Media, and we appreciate y'all looking at the shows. And then we say join us all the time. And that, again, okay, he said Great Wolverine. I thought he was going to say something else, but okay. And yes, hate still lives, but that's Julius Hall. And so we're going to move on right now because, again, because I said Woodsville, they got this stuff in their mind. But again, this Run Tell That. Check out all the shows on Our Black Media. We have the Rabble coming up at 8 o'clock, and we say support us, Hot 2100 Savannah and the world. We are here for you. We are here for you. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I gotta get his comment off because he's too much for me. But yeah, we're gonna sign out right now. Yes. And this is Run Tell That. Check out all our shows and Hot 2100 Savannah and the world.
like that. I like that.